Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing just wonderful so far. Woke up on the right side of the bed. Today is episode 2 of the Better Failure podcast, and we're going to name this one The Force of Worry. Still trying to figure out the way that I like putting these out here, but this is a article that I wrote a while ago, and I think I'm just going to read right off of it. And so a lot of people have read this. They intend to get some good feedback off of it and seem to help some people with their thoughts. And so hopefully that can do something for you this morning. I pray that morning, afternoon, whenever you're listening, maybe Lord can speak through us both and we can help each other. So this is called The Force of Worry. Offbeat. Why is it that even our own brains fight against us? Could it be the nature of our ancestors inscribed into our subconscious, trying to warn us of a threat that's yet to come? Or is it just a foul attempt at trying to decipher the future to keep us from harm? Or is it simply the rhythm of our internal vibrations being offbeat? However we look at it, most of us continually fight a battle that we didn't volunteer for. Like we've been drafted into a debate with the cosmic forces of the future, wrestling with ourselves into thinking that we can know the unknown. But today I wrestled. I was having a perfectly splendid start to the day. Got my vibrations in sync, or so I thought. Had my morning caffeine fix and was tackling the obstacles that met me at work as soon as my feet stepped out of the truck. Everything seemed to be order in my consciousness. Then all it took was one conversation, one simple, short piece of banter that sent me into a valley of unknown and worry. I remember this day. You see, I have an issue with pride, but I convinced myself that I would never allow those bits of comparison to bother me. Although after speaking with my dad about how well my brothers are doing, I was overcome with the bitterness that pride can carry. But I didn't understand why. Because I love my brothers dearly. But something inside of me let go of that security that I have found in Christ and His plan. So why? Why is it that this doting of my father on his other boys got me all out of whack? Now I'm worried about my bank account, I'm worried about the future, I'm worried about the plans for my family, worried about every damn thing that my mind could throw at me, and I knew that it was wrong. I knew that I should be happy that they're doing so well, but there was one thing in the way of me sharing that same joy with my father. Pride. Pride, pride, pride. Oh, how strong are the vibrations of that subconscious trait that we have named pride. So strong, in fact, that they threw me off beat. Open it. Same day of these events, although I was having a good morning, I didn't get to do the one thing that was really being beckoned to do. Simply read a few pages of my Bible. But like I said, I was met with tasks as soon as I pulled onto the lot. This was back when I worked at Soap My Ride, our old car wash. And that was a 60, 70 hour a week job where I managed 15 to 20 employees, had a car wash and a ceramic shop in the back, and maintenance and labor and all kinds of things. And so every day when I stepped onto that lot, it was hit the ground running. And along with not waking up early enough to make time to read before I left. So there I was, unbalanced and worrying about my own financial and spiritual well-being. All because of the pride that was in my way. But one thing that kept coming to mind was not getting to read my Bible. And that's when I set aside all the tasks in front of me and went to the truck. The book calling to me more than I to it. The Word, that is. All I had to do was open it. Exodus 14:15 of the New King James Version. And the Lord said to Moses, "Why do you cry to me? Tell the children of Israel to go forward, but lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it. My wife and I have been praying and working towards possibly the biggest event of our lives thus far. We have prayed, we have planned, we have thought about how we're going to make money, what our end goals are, etc., etc. And I have told myself that I am good. I found faith in his plan. Just as the Israelites have been witness to his miracles, I should have known to have faith through my insecurity. But again, I wasn't strong enough to overcome the obstacles in my own mind. It took him, took his word. And just when I looked to him for reassurance, he has to remind me like the child that I am to stop crying to me. You know the direction that you've prayed about. You have sought and found my peace. Now stop questioning my plan. Raise your rod and stretch your faith over the sea of your worry and divide it. Do not be afraid. Do not worry. And when you must, seek me. Don't just look at your closed Bible. Open it. He would rather this than for you to continue to wallow in your own self-made turmoil. But he wants you to pick up your rod and have more faith. Man, that brings up some old memories. I wrote that in April of 2023. That's when we were discussing making this move to Florida and coming up with those plans and, seeking the vision for our future that we saw down here. And it took a lot of faith to not only leave a family business that I was running entirely, but to leave a hometown, leave roots, leave family, we left everything. And it was the first time that my wife and I had really found a vision that we had both shared of our future. It's like we already always knew that's kind of what our vision would end up being. Like down here is kind of somewhere we both knew that we would end up, but neither of us really said it out loud. She was too kind and too modest to say, I want you to uproot everything that you're doing so we can move down there. And I was too probably proud to say that I want to uproot everything that I'm doing and move down there too. And it's funny, when those little things trigger you, like my dad talking about his brothers, or, it can be just a little silly conversation you have with your wife about anything. I mean, what the kids need to wear to school tomorrow, about going and spending some money to get some extra groceries. When you find yourself getting just upset about little stupid stuff, there's definitely more going on there. And it's like having a bruise on your arm that you don't really know is there until you hit it. And all of a sudden you're like, well, that hurts. I didn't realize that I had this pain right here. And all I can tell you is when you've prayed enough, when you know that you've spent your time in the Word, when you know that you've spent your time with Him, and you have found that peace, we'll end up praying, finding that peace, and then forgetting it almost as soon as we find it. I can't tell you how many times I've prayed and calmed myself down and gotten myself out of a hole, just to 10, 20 minutes later, completely disregard that prayer, disregard that state of mind that I've worked and gotten myself in, and been overcome by fleshly, worldly things that just get me all out of whack. And that anxiety, it's so fleshly. It is so fleshly, just worrying about ourselves, worrying about our family. And as men, and women too, but we take a lot of responsibility in providing entirely for the family quietly. We don't talk about our worries out loud. We don't talk about the things that could go wrong. We don't talk about we don't share those burdens with our wives a lot of the time, or especially definitely our kids, because we don't want them to carry that same load. That is our responsibility, and we're happy to take it, but it doesn't mean that it's not heavy. And so I have always loved taking guys to lunch during the week, fellow believers or other disciples, and sharing that burden with them, but going home at the end of the day knowing that that is your burden to carry. But that's partly what he's talking about when he says share the burden with your brother, because just having that other man there that knows where you're at, knows what you're thinking, knows how you're carrying that burden because he's got the same backpack on, makes it a lot easier. But when you found that peace, it now becomes a test of faith. Now, instead of continually needing to go back to him to find that peace again and basically demonstrating your lack of faith, we have to remember and know that we have already found that peace. We have found that peace in him. He is the Prince of Peace for a reason. We seek him, we know him, and we walk with him. We don't walk with him for 10 feet and then say, okay, I'm going to go walk this mile and I'll come find you on the other side. No, we got to walk with him the whole way there. And I mean, I told a friend the other day who was having trouble with staying in that state of mind, and he's actually running a car wash now, but I was talking to him about continually staying in his presence to keep our minds right. And I said, I challenge you to put a reminder on your phone, an alarm, every 2 hours to pray. Every 2 hours throughout the whole day. And that will bug you and bug you and bug you. But every time you look, you'll be like, all right, yeah, that's right. I need to get back in that presence, because it's easy to get overwhelmed with whatever tasks you got going on. And man, it takes practice. It's like working out. Those muscles are going to get sore for a while, and you're going to get up, not, try not to use foul language, but you don't want to get annoyed with those alarms. But if that's what it takes, like getting your muscles sore just so that you can get them bigger and stronger or whatever, that's what it takes to grow forward. And so, but we need to have so much faith that we don't have to go to him for it. We trust him. We know him. We know that he's here for us. We know the plans that he's made for us. And so they're plans to help us, not to harm us. They're plans to prosper us and give us a future. And so when he says, why do you cry to me? It's because he knew that he had given Moses that vision. I knew that he had given me that vision. And I just had to quit being a child and have faith. So today, have more faith. Be a better failure. God bless you. Thank you.